Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality back with you here today to go over some follow-up to a previous video I did just a few days ago about the whole women's NCAA title game and all the shenanigans that went on with that. So this, well, not in necessarily the same vein, it kind of has to do with the same thing as in that women's NCAA title game. So, as you probably are well aware of, that we live very much in a participation trophy culture these days. So even if you lose, we want you to have a trophy to feel like, you know, you are a part of the team. Like, go team, you are a part of it too, which I hate. And it's probably one of the things that's led to the type of culture we have now with kids that just feel entitled about everything. I was not one of those kids that got participation trophies. I think if like we were anywhere from first to third place in Little League, we got a trophy just for that, but it wasn't like, hey, thanks for playing. You finished in last place. Here's a trophy. And I know that's happened because my older nephew, played baseball, and he got something similar to that. And I remember he came up to me when he got that, and he was like, why did I get this? He's like, we sucked. And I was like, hey, it's up to you if you want to keep it or not. I'm like, I don't see the point of it either, but it's up to you. And I don't know what he did with it or anything, but at least he was learning the right thing. But in any case, back to the actual story here. So I have an article put up from Red State. This is from April 3rd. It says, Jill Biden steps in at big time with invite made after NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. So what did our estimable First Lady do? Dr. Jill Biden, the greatest doctor in all the land. What did she do? So let's go through the article. It says, for the longest time, it has been either insinuated or outright stated by our supposed intellectual betters on the left about how First Lady Jill Biden is the wiser of the two senior Bidens who currently occupy the residence at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But you wouldn't know it based on some of the really cringe-inducing things she said and done since her husband Joe was sworn in, one of which happened Monday in the aftermath of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship game, which was played Sunday in Dallas. In it, LSU defeated Iowa 102-85, making it the first time in school history that one of their basketball teams, men or women, brought home an NCAA championship. Good for them. And just a quick side note, one of my good friend's wives played for LSU like 20 years ago. So I'm happy for them, or LSU, by way of my friend's wife 20 years ago, I guess, that they were able to win a championship. So that's cool that, hey, you know, someone that used to play for that basketball team, even though they weren't on that team. It's still a pretty cool thing. There's like a 2 degrees of separation there. It's not too bad. So continuing with the article, on Monday during a trip to Denver, Mrs. Biden, who had been at the game the night before, said LSU would be invited to the White House. Championship teams at both the oh, Jesus, I butchered that sentence. I'm going to step back. I apologize. It says, on Monday during a trip to Denver, Mrs. Biden, who had been at the game the night before, said LSU would be invited to the White House as championship teams at both the college and pro levels often are. Okay, there we go. I said it right. But that Iowa should also be invited. Okay, it's participation trophy time. I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So we hope LSU will come. Well, they should. They won the championship. But, you know, I'm going to tell Joe I think Iowa should come too because they played such a good game. No, they lost. They shouldn't go. Conversation's over. Move on to the next thing. Okay? You don't get this, like, I mean, are we going to get to the point where we're getting a professional sports leagues and it's like, oh, hey, look, the Bears won the Super Bowl. So, but the Patriots played a good game, so we should have them come too. But then what about the teams that they beat in their conference championships? They probably played a good game. Why can't they go? What about the teams that those teams beat? I mean, how far back do you go with this? Are you really you might as well just invite everybody there, unless there's teams that, that did not play very well, I guess. So this is just a stupid thing. So the article continues, says the White House didn't immediately respond to a request for comment about whether President Joe Biden would also extend a White House invite to Iowa and whether it would be a joint visit with LSU or a separate engagement. So one of the stars of the game, LSU's Angel Reese, who was the player that was at the brunt of the non-controversy, in my opinion, from the title game, responded to the news by laughing emojis and calling Biden's invited joke, which she did nothing wrong. She's 100% right about that. Says, honestly, it doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. That's the writer to invite the losing team to the White House, right? Considering it's a winner's privilege to be able to go. Correct. But considering Reese's response, some are ripping Dr. Biden for claiming another kind of so-called privilege. White privilege. Oh, we're heading into that territory, are we? Why do we need to make everything about race? This isn't about race. Jesus H. Okay, she made a stupid comment, okay? And anybody that's bringing race into it, you might want to think twice about your life, because there's an actual word that you call people that dwell on that as much as you do. Okay, so continuing on with the article, so the rationale behind it appears to stem from the backlash to Reese flashing the "You Can't See Me" sign at Iowa star player Caitlin Clark at the end of the game, something Clark herself had done to a Louisville player during Iowa's game against them in the Elite Eight. Reese has taken criticism over her version of trash talk, and when asked about it, she said in so many words that the reason why she's taking heat is because she's black. Oh, Jesus H. It's not. She says Clark, who is white, was widely praised when she did it. Yeah, okay, whatever. Anna Horford, who is a sister of NBA legend former Celtics player Al Horford, I know him, summed up the thoughts of a lot of the very online left in reaction to Jill Biden's invite at both LSU and Iowa. Says, this is never how it's worked, and right, and if the roles were reversed, Angel and LSU would not be invited. Correct. I mean, just the basic thing, if Iowa had won the championship and LSU hadn't, LSU would not have been invited. That's 100% right, because they wouldn't have been the winners. So not putting this on Clark, but white women tears are a powerful thing. Okay, so we're making it about race there. Again, you need to go look in the mirror, because there's a word that we call people like you. Okay? The average says the amount of privilege on display is astonishing. Okay, whatever. Says my thought here is that maybe Jill Biden is trying to beer Summit Clark. I don't know the reference. And Reese by bringing them together. Oh, okay. In the spirit of sportsmanship or whatever, which would actually be very dumb if so, because to the victors go the spoils. Correct. And that includes being able to do some trash talk about against the losing team and visit the White House if that's your thing. Unfortunately for us all, Biden expressed her wish for LSU and Iowa to travel to the White House was not the worst of what she said. Oh, God, I don't know what else she said after this. Do I have to read this? Let's see what she said. In her remarks, Biden also marveled at how far women's sports in the U.S. have come since Title IX in 1972 gave women equal rights in sports at schools that receive federal funding. It was so exciting, wasn't it? She said. It was such a great game. I'm old enough to remember that when we got Title IX, we fought so hard, right? We fought so hard, and look where women's sports have come today. Right. I mean, women's sports have come so far that your very powerful husband is a proponent of altering Title IX, along with allowing men who identify as women to compete in their sporting events and win. Yay, feminism, right? Well, that's a topic for another video, but yes, that's, you've come so far that you're allowing men to win your events. Yeah, there you go. Says, oh, well, at least Joe Biden didn't compare the women's teams to breakfast tacos, which is something that she did a while ago. That's something at least, and that's the end of the article. But yeah, I mean, if you're like a college or professional sports team and you win your championship of your particular league or whatever it is, that's all that gets to go to the White House to visit. The end. We're done. There shouldn't be like a secondary, like, hey, maybe the team that finished runner-up could go see whoever the vice president is. Maybe do that. I mean, who finished in third place? Can they go see, like, do they get to talk to the Speaker of the House and so on and so forth down the line? Maybe they should just do that. Yeah, everybody gets to meet the next person in line, the hierarchy in the federal government. You know, but I mean, seriously, this has the thing that keeps coming back to me. This has nothing to do with race, and people are only bringing that up because Iowa happens to be mostly white and LSU happens to be mostly black. Okay, if the roles were in fact reversed, you wouldn't be hearing about this at all, probably. Okay, so. I hate the fact that keeps coming into it. It's not a thing. If you're putting it in there, that's you and your vision of the world that you're trying to push into this situation. And again, as I've said multiple times in this video, you're the one that needs to look in a mirror because you're the one with the problem. And again, there is a word that we use to call people like you. Okay? In any case, what do you guys think about this? Do you think Dr. Jill Biden stepped in it? I know it's been retracted at this point. I should have mentioned that too. Yeah, the invite has been retracted. So LSU is the only team that's going to the White House. So, but I just wanted to see what everybody kind of thought about this. Comment below. What do you think? Like, share, subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.